Howdy, Raise Nation. We're broadcasting live from San Antonio, Texas for the 9th Annual Raise Conference. I'm Dawn Lego with OneCause, and we are turning up the volume on fundraising, innovation, and inspiration, straight from the Riverwalk to the airwaves. And riding shotgun with me is my fantastic co-host, Kevin Spikerman with Auction Packages.
Thanks, Dawn. The energy here is electric. Thousands of change makers, bold strategies sparking, and fundraising strategies that will shape the future. Over the next 2 days, we'll bring the stories, the breakthroughs, and maybe even a little Texas-sized fun. Turn it up.
It's Raise Nation Radio. We are back with live coverage from Raise. We're so excited that you're here. And guess who's in the house? C2 Auctions. We have Chris and Livia. We're so glad that you're here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You were here for the very, very first Raise conference in Washington, D.C.
I was.
And now you're back for our 9th annual conference.
Absolutely.
How exciting is that? Okay, what looks different to you, Chris?
I mean, first of all, guys, the size. I think there were probably 100, 150 people at the
That's
first
right.
one.
You don't
Great
lie.
content still, but this is the growth you guys have had is incredible, and we're really excited to be a part of it. So thank you for having us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we wouldn't dream of not having you. Tell us about C2 Auctions. What do y'all do?
So C2 Auctions is a Washington, D.C. based auction consultancy. We provide strategic guidance, training, professional development, data management, and event day services for nonprofits all over the country, primarily in Washington, D.C.
And specifically, you're speaking at Raise, and maybe you could speak about what you're speaking on, the 3 Ps to prevent a funding need predicament.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Livy, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so what we really have encountered is that fund a need is really something that a lot of organizations are a little hesitant and scared about, and it really, we consider it one of the most important parts of a fundraising event. So we talked about the 3 Ps to really make a fund a need most successful, so to really pre-solicit, professionalize, and publicize.
Let's do that again. Pre-solicit,
Professionalize, and publicize.
Okay, great.
The 3 Ps, and so we dove into tactics, the strategy behind it, the why behind it, and how it can really elevate your fund need and also take the stress out of it. It really isn't that
daunting,
that nerve-wracking. You can actually prepare, and you can make it so that you as an organization can go into the fund and need quite relaxed, and it is almost guaranteed, if you do it correctly, to raise a lot of money.
I think what I love about C2 Auctions is that you guys cover a lot of factors in terms of how you coach, right? Some people are very specialized, right? Like they're just doing the auction portion, or they're just doing check-in. Talk about C2 Auctions, how you guys really cover everything when it comes to the event.
The thing that we encounter the most with our clients and the problem that we are trying to solve is that auctions and event fundraising can very often take up kind of more space in the life of an advancement office than it needs to. We coach our clients to work on aligning their efforts with the impact that it's having. The reason that we chose Fund a Need as our topic for this year's conference was really because it's the place where you can have a really big bang for your buck. There are a million things that advancement officers have to be thinking about. They don't just run their event, but when you are spending 3, 4, 5 months consumed by these efforts,
Sometimes a year.
Sometimes a year, you really need to focus on the things that are highest impact. And so our coaching, our strategy overall is really for clients to take a really hard look at their revenue streams, how much time they're actually spending on those revenue streams, and then realigning their time and their efforts accordingly. I'm sure this does not apply to any of the nonprofits that are here, but nonprofits can be very change averse, risk averse, always doing the same thing as they did last year, just because they're always on to the next. There's a lot
riding on every decision, so I do understand.
Absolutely.
But we can help get them there.
Absolutely.
Especially with your services.
Well, and sometimes it's really just, it's not so much about changing things, it's just about changing where you and your team are putting your time to make it used most effectively.
All right, let's get maybe a little out of strategy and into fun.
Okay.
What's trending in events right now? What should nonprofits be thinking about? We are back, fully back. Everybody wants to be in person. No
Yeah.
more of that
Yes.
2020, 2021
Yeah,
stuff,
no,
right?
we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that,
yeah.
right?
No.
So, but everybody is back,
Yep.
trying to stand out. Lots of competition.
Yep.
How do you bring that wow factor? What's trending?
That's such a great question. I would say just the one thing to kind of tack on to what I was just saying before, that break, that virtual break, did really give people an opportunity to make
Reset?
to reset and make
yes.
big changes.
Fair.
And so we have noticed in the past few years, like things that were really heavy pre-COVID. So you're talking huge silent auctions, things like that. People have really streamlined, and I think guests have responded very well to that. So what I'm observing is actually just people trying to have a little bit more fun.
Yes.
Keep the events a little bit shorter, keep them a little bit lighter, keep them a little bit, more mobile, right? So that's my observation.
Yeah, and it actually starts with the room setup. Pre-COVID, you would really have, the silent auction room would be cluttered with
Massive. Flea
massive,
market.
Right.
placard after placard after placard, displaying every single auction items and decorations and everything. And now it is all much more streamlined, because really what it comes down to is give people space to actually have a fun cocktail party before the program starts. And also, since all the bidding takes place online, you really want people on your phone and not reading
Take
table
advantage.
placards.
Right.
And so that we're seeing more and more that, and it takes some guts for a lot of organizations to say, it's like, okay, we're not displaying everything. We're actually taking that risk, and we're just, you need to remind people that there's an auction going on, but then you need them on the phone bidding.
Yes.
And
We like hearing that.
yes, absolutely. And but at the same time, you can do that while still having fun, and not, like the opportunity to really have it also as a fundraiser and have the fundraiser streamlined is, I think,
Let them have an experience at the same
exactly.
time. Or just have a couple of luxury travel items.
Or a
and
luxury travel bag.
Call it a day.
Absolutely,
There we go.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, those always go.
Yeah. Well, a common theme that's come up over the last couple of days is just like the run of show, right? And the importance of that. And so
Yes.
not just, hey, we have 2 hours, so let's just put it all together.
Right.
So what's one mistake
Let it
people
breathe.
make one or two mistakes that people make when putting their run of show together, and something that maybe you guys could speak to?
The biggest
Olivia's
one.
smiling.
Either one of us can do this one. The biggest mistake is putting the fund in need at the end of the program. Our presentation was a big part of this. Is we need to start reframing the way we think about our events, that they are not events with a fund in need attached. It's a fund in need. This is a fundraiser. This is why we're here. This is your mission. This is everything. So when you tack on your fund in need toward the end of the event, when people have had too much to drink, they've had too much fun, they're ready to roll, their babysitter's
need to
calling,
relieve the
whatever.
babysitter,
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. You're sending a message about the importance of that ask, and so pulling that ask into the front
You're
of the program.
minimizing it in a
right,
way. Yeah.
right. And so whether you intend to or not, you are sending a message to your audience about how they should think about the ask, and so bringing that ask into the front part of the program tells them, we're putting this front and center. We would like you
Priority.
to put this front
It's
and
not
center
an
too.
afterthought.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the other aspect about run of show is really truly, don't keep the program too long. Don't have the program run too late.
Kiss it. Keep it simple.
We always say, really by 9 p.m. your program should be done. You can have an after party and
You
release
can dance
people
away
out
to
on the
2 in the
dance
morning.
floor, let them, exactly. But to keep people's attention, again, they've already, done the silent auction, they've chatted, now they're hungry, they want to eat. So grabbing that attention, because you need people's attention for the live auction and especially for the fund in need, but then keep it concise. Keep it moving. Don't start too late. People will get tired, and tipsy is okay, but when it goes beyond, then the
right.
attention span just.
You want a few drinks in them, but we don't want people on the floor.
So you got to find
They
the
can't
sweet
bid from
spot.
the floor.
Right, no, they
Yes.
cannot. Or under the table. Or,
Yes, no, they can't do
Yes,
those things.
exactly.
Well, we talked about tech a little bit, right? And I think technology is just innovating. It's evolving. It's getting more complex, getting maybe daunting for nonprofits. OneCause is a big proponent of just keep innovating and delivering and meeting donors where they are. But that means a lot of tech. And I know that you are certified in the OneCause platform.
Yep.
So tell me what certification meant to you, why you put your team through that masterclass experience and how you feel that it is not only going to strengthen your organization, but help you move great missions forward?
That's a great question. We really appreciated the certification process, and for anybody out there who's thinking about it, considering it, I would highly recommend it. The new fundraising platform is clearly a really powerful tool, and the way that we always coach our clients, regardless of the platform that they're using, is you need to have a kind of universal sense of what the platform can do. You can always figure out how exactly to do something. OneCause has terrific tech support if you have particular questions, but you need to know what the capabilities are. And I think for me, understanding what the new capabilities were in the fundraising platform were really like that was the most valuable part of the certification process for me. I know Livia works with our data management team, who's I think currently going through the certification program.
They are currently getting certified, exactly, and it is just really helpful because also when you consult a client, we need to understand what is available and how things work. We need it for our event day, staffing services. So we really want to understand deeply what the platform is about, so that we don't do the training on the platform, obviously, for our clients, but the strategy, the why behind it, and how to utilize the tools and what,
how they were intended,
why they should use them. That's kind of when we come in.
Yeah, and thank you for being early adopters of our certification program. We've morphed that into a customer certification program. We don't want to make things harder. We just want everyone to understand the why and how to use the tools to its fullest potential and how they were designed. So we applaud you for really just diving in every aspect. What you do, meeting donors where they are, watching new trends, embracing technology. You're just doing all the things. You are crushing it, C2. Crushing it. Now, do you service the whole country? Are you niche to one area? Tell us if nonprofits are like, like what they're saying, Chris and Livia. How do we use that?
We do. So our company is based in Washington, D.C., so the majority of our event day staffing business is located there, though we do travel for that as well. Where we service the national market is in our consultancy, and so we offer two different professional development packages. These are specifically designed for advancement officers. We have a package designed for new advancement officers or folks who are maybe coming into the event space for the first time. It's a 2-day workshop that's offered a couple of times a year that they can come through and learn kind of soup to nuts, what's the strategy behind every revenue stream at an event. So it's not going to be event planning as such. It's not talking about catering, decor, things like that. It's a strategic development program about the fundraising elements in particular. And we also offer an in-house consultancy, which would include coming to your organization, spending anywhere between 3-4 days with various stakeholders. So with board members, with your executive director, with the auction committee, it would vary by client and their particular needs. But again, bringing them that kind of more personalized service when they're thinking about starting, growing, changing their event.
And really the overarching theme of our training is really how do we make fundraising event planning for them easier? How do we make it more successful? So we have it's all raise more, stress less. But there's really, something to it. And when you approach everything strategically and go with, a data-driven approach and really go bit by bit, revenue stream by revenue stream, it makes advancement officers' life a lot easier, and it will be more successful. So that is kind of the overarching theme behind our professional development training.
Yeah, you're well-rounded. Oh my gosh, you are fearless fundraisers. So fearless fundraisers serving fearless fundraisers. Chris, Livia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All the best of luck.
Thank you.
Keep rocking it. We'll be back with more from Raise.
Hello, Sarah Mason Fig. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Well, you are here at the Raise conference where you were a speaker.
Yes.
And you were sharing your event experience with type 1 diabetes, T1D.
Yes.
You have all new brand and all new identity, right?
We do. We're going through some change right now, but
I love it.
It's exciting.
Well, so talk to me a little bit about your sort of take that you were bringing to the conference. I feel like a lot of folks are trying to figure out what is the next direction we're going to go? What are we going to do next? And you came and presented about your success with your golf tournament.
Yeah.
So what do you think nonprofits should be focused on right now?
Absolutely. I think, definitely there is the big elephant in the room. There's been a changing landscape with how we all are fundraising and just living our day-to-day lives, but there's still the need. And so I think the biggest thing for us right now is not being afraid to think outside the box and really rework some of the things that we've done the same for so long. And that's been kind of an overarching theme. Like this week, I've heard that in a lot of the sessions of trying to be creative. Even when you think you're not creative, there might be new ways to do things. And even something as old school as a golf tournament, you can kind of flip it on its head. You can rent a golf cannon and have them shoot a golf ball out of a big old piece of PVC pipe. You could have a helicopter drop golf balls on your driving range and have a raffle. So, I mean, there's different things you can do to make it exciting and not just, it's not really about the golf. So,
right.
Like I always joke about that. Like, it's not about the golf. People are there for the cause, but it's also fun while they're there and it makes them want to come back the next year.
Well, you got people talking because after your session, I heard from two folks that came to me and they're like, do you want to hear my golf story?
I'm so excited.
One of them was talking about, to make their event more mission centric, they were talking about memory loss. And with memory loss comes challenges. And so they added a challenge to different areas on the golf course to help people make that connection between where you might experience a challenge, whether it be physically or, just like a more challenging course.
Yeah.
And then the other person told me about your helicopter ball drop and said, we do that, but our executive director skydives out of the helicopter first.
Yes, you can. We had trouble selling sponsorship for it kind of in the beginning because people didn't know what it was, right? So we're trying to how do we tell this story better? But that you can totally have somebody ride in the helicopter as long as they have the insurance coverage for it, for sure. But I love those ideas, and the mission-centric moments are so important. We always try to integrate those. I was at a gala once that they had a text that would go off on your phone and say, check your blood sugar. Like even if so for people that don't have type 1 diabetes that aren't used to being tethered or tied to CGM or a pump all day, they kind of get that feeling of, I've got a bolus for my meal before I eat, or how many carbs are in this cheesecake, things like that. So it was really an impactful moment. And I love those where you can tie back why we're here.
So we hear a lot from folks about do events, don't do events. I've been asking all of our guests to debunk a myth. Can you tell me this myth of events are too expensive? Events aren't worth the time. What would you say to that?
Well, you're not doing them right. You've really got to know where you're going to invest your time and your resources. Something we've actually done recently is incorporate event management companies. We are the professionals. We can host an event in a week. We could turn something around, I'm sure, with our team. But you also have to realize there are experts in the field doing it well, where your donor dollars might be well spent to save you that time. In the time that we could be reaching out to however many vendors to get an event to happen, we could have somebody that's an expert at that doing that while we're meeting with major donors and securing 6-figure gifts. And I think that all day, it's worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. We are in the event space. We are planners in the event space. And I would not do what I do without engaging other experts with us, right? I would never get up and try to execute an auction. I am not a professional auctioneer. But having a really good benefit auctioneer can be a game changer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also think, with event planners, we're all control enthusiasts. We love our things. We like our things where we put them and happening when they're supposed to happen. But I think also just building that trust with a true event partner that can help you execute those things and what's going to happen. It does have to be the right people. You can't just hire someone. So do your research.
Well, I'm curious, is this your first time at Raise?
It is my first time at Raise.
So what did you think? What did you get out of it? Any key takeaway?
Fabulous. Honestly, what I really liked and what was refreshing is being around people outside of Breakthrough T1D. I love my Breakthrough T1D family. We do a lot together. We have our own conference every year called OneConference where we do just this, right? But being with other people in the industry is so powerful because it makes me realize that there's a lot of helpers out there, right? Doing the work. Yeah. And it's just refreshing to hear how they're thinking of doing something. While we might not think that space relates to what we're doing with diabetes research or community engagement or advocacy, It does really when you break it down. So it was interesting to be in some strategy sessions with people trying to think of how do we build up a program that's self-sustaining, you know? And so we're like, this doesn't really apply. I was like, but it kind of does. Like, you know, there are things we do that can be so it's just that being the togetherness and peer share, being able to be brave, the diversity, the DEI session about like diversifying your boards and who, you know, having people in the room that look and act like the people that you're trying to serve. It seems like it makes sense to a lot, you know, like it makes sense to a lot of people, but it's like, no, but we got to talk about it. We can't just say it, check a box. That one has been the most impactful. Just the conversations and the people that raised their hands in that room were really impactful.
Well, I love what you said about there's so many helpers, because I get to meet incredible people like yourself, and I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Me too.
Thank you for sharing your golf story. Thank you for joining us on Raise Nation Radio and on the fundraising elevator where we're all headed up.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ready to take your fundraising to the next level? Need to get unstuck in your event planning? Now's your chance to connect directly with the experts behind the fundraising elevator. Book a one-on-one consulting session with Sam for strategic planning and fundraising strategy, with Kristen for your program and storytelling, or Mary for your registration and data tools. They're here to provide you personalized answers to all your event questions. Don't wait. Raise more at your next fundraising event. Book your session today at elevatenonprofit.com. You can also find the link in the show notes.
Hey everybody, Trevor Nelson with HGA Fundraising, tuning in with another live episode from the Raise broadcast studio at Raise 2025. And I'm joined by my new friend, T. Clay Buck.
Hello.
We passed each other 50 times on this thing. And you're like, you said it this morning, you're like, probably a good idea if we sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So it's good to meet you, brother.
Likewise. Thank you.
Tell the audience about yourself, what you do, company, the whole night, if you don't mind. It's better coming from you.
No, not at all. Currently, I'm the founder and principal of Next River Fundraising Strategies. It's my own firm.
Cool.
After 30 years of being in fundraising, started this to focus on individual giving from acquisition to major gifts.
Okay.
And I get to do this, travel around to different conferences and meet people, and anybody will let me talk. I'll take a minute to, spout an opinion or two.
I fan of yours on LinkedIn. I see a lot of the work that you do. So you go to a lot of events.
Yeah, fair amount.
I want you to tell the audience too about your the presentation is kind of like the impetus for what you spoke about yesterday. I want to kind of get into that a little bit. And is that normally what you talk about? But that's 3 questions in one. But what'd you do yesterday at Raise?
So the session that I did yesterday was called From Auction to Advocate.
Okay.
Talking about how do we take, and I hate the word convert.
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
It's so technical.
It's a weird moniker.
Transactional, but
I don't like stewardship.
Oh well, don't get me It's a whole. That's a whole
episode
other
2.
episode.
Episode
yeah, exactly.
2. Yeah.
But I agree. So yes. So how do we convert auction buyers into long-term donors? And looking at both the strategies and the psychology behind auction donors.
Yeah.
And what our long-term goals and how we apply that all together. Is this something that I frequently talk about? Yes and no, because, I've done events.
Yeah.
My first job was a special events manager, did a huge gala in Chicago every year. I've been to them, I go to them, I know events. For me, it's about the individual, the person. So that's where now what really interests me now is how do we take that event and turn it into a long-term engagement? Not just a one-time thing, not just they came and bought an auction item or they raised the paddle, whatever it is, but how do we really connect with them on an identity and values-based level?
Can we get into that a little bit? Like what's step 1 for the audience when they're connecting with someone that just gave $100 at the event, maybe 3 different ways? Not 3 different ways to connect with them.
Well,
maybe they gave $100 3 different times is what I mean.
Okay, so and I'm going to push back on you.
Come on now.
And go, because I truly believe, and what the data that I've looked at and see, so with all of the nonprofits that I work with, when we're looking at auction donors, they don't behave like donors.
Explain.
And so to me, I said this yesterday and caused quite a little controversy.
The record player went scratch.
There was a record scratch. There was a pause in the distance, sirens. When I said auction buyers are not donors.
What'd you call them? What do you call them?
They're auction buyers. And I'm talking.
That is interesting. It's catching my attention. Yeah.
And I'm talking about an auction purchaser who is engaged in no other way. If you get somebody who buys an auction item who also gives $500 or volunteers, that's a different story.
But first-time attendee type
the
thing.
First-time attendee, the first-time purchaser.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the only transaction that they have with your organization. Cool. They're not a donor. They bought a thing.
Okay.
There's different motivations for that. They may have bought the thing at the auction because, hey, I'm going to buy this because I know it's going to a good cause. Yeah. They may have bought it because they thought they got a good deal. It might be something unique that they can't get anywhere. Whatever the reason is, that is fundamentally a transaction. Yeah. And on some level, they know they're supporting the charity. They know they're supporting your nonprofit. But primarily, they're a transaction donor. So we can't treat them like a donor yet.
Okay. I was like,
so the first step is, and what I say is, for those folks, think of the auction, think of the event as the start or the middle of the relationship, not the end.
Perfect.
So the first step after the auction is, how do we start talking to them like a donor? Okay. And the first step isn't an ask, it's thanks. Thanks for being there. It's reinforcing that identity. It's bringing back. Yeah. So I talk a lot about the peak end
really
rule,
good. It's really
right?
Good.
Where our brains remember the emotional high end of an event and the end of an emotionally charged event. We forget most of the stuff in the middle. Yeah. And also emotional residue, which is essentially the technical psychological term is hedonic adaptation, which basically means we remember we had a good time, but the feelings fade. Yeah. So I no longer have that dopamine sort of, right, oxytocin flowing through from the event. I remember it was fun, but that feeling starts to fade. The sooner we can reinforce and remind of that feeling. Trevor, you did a generous thing. You did a very cool thing. Thanks for being at the event. Thanks for purchasing that item. Just want to tell you a little bit more about what we do. Yeah. Quick, easy, breezy, remind them of the event. Yeah. And you keep reminding them of that emotional high. Awesome. And you keep reminding them of that moment of generosity before you ask them to become a donor, because they're going to need more of a reason why.
I love it. It sounds like also like the psychology piece of it. It creates a recurring thought.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not negating the value of the transaction at
all. No, I get it. It opened the door.
And there are people that this is how they exercise their philanthropy. So good for you. I have a dear friend. You want her at her event. You want her to come to her event because she loves a gala. She loves having her princess moment, getting to get dressed up, right? And she loves an auction item. Yeah. So you want her there. But a month, 2 months later, I'm like, that's a great handbag. Where'd you get it? Oh, some auction. For what cause? I don't know. Some pet, maybe. I don't know.
Because they probably didn't thank her.
Right. And she may not remember. She remembers she bought it at an auction. She doesn't remember the gala. I want Nicole to remember what event she bought that item at and why it was important.
Yeah. Yeah. You said the first thing shouldn't be an ask. We love that. We say things like, thank your donor 7 times after the event 100%. Before you even ask them for money again.
Yep.
Another thing, like my mind immediately went to your friend Nicole with the handbag. It's like, I'm a bigger believer in differentiation over competition. Being different would be like, put something in the handbag. The phone call, how do you like the handbag? Stuff like these things seem very obvious to us. So I'm glad that you're having the conversation because it doesn't seem obvious to everyone else. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're horrible people. They're inherently good people.
Right.
They need this encouragement.
Well, and listen, I have done the driving around, picking up auction items and trying to put together packages. It is hard work. It is not easy. And you don't always get things that naturally go together or fit your mission. But can you take your auction items and somehow package them, somehow present them, somehow put them together so that there is some relation to your cause?
Yeah.
Somebody told me after my session today, and I'm like totally stealing this idea of if you auction off like a case of wine or a bottle of wine, you put a sticker or create a custom label, right? So that every time they pull out the bottle of wine, there's I got this at such and such an auction or whatever it may be. Finding some way to connect that auction to the mission so that everything remains sticky. I love that idea of putting a card in something or
just one, and also like I mean, just the simplicity of it. It's like, what works for you? A text message, a phone call, a handwritten note, all the above, an email, a sizzle reel, do it all. Fundraising's an and thing. It's not an or thing.
Fundraising is an and thing, and I'm not disagreeing with you. You're
could if you
absolutely correct. I'm big on do what you can do and do well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Quadruple down on that.
Like, if you can't do video for whatever reason, then don't do video.
Totally.
If you, I mean, like one of the best social media platforms for fundraising right now is Twitch. Don't everybody run out and get a Twitch account and get somebody that can do gaming on Twitch, because we're not good at it. We're not experts in it. Do what you're an expert in. Yeah. Do what you can do well and execute cleanly and so forth. But also, as soon as I said that about video, I'm like, can we also all relax about professionalism?
Yeah.
A donor, an auction buyer would be just as happy with your shaky video on your iPhone.
In the car.
After the event, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As long as they can hear what you're saying and it's identifiable as you, it doesn't have to be. We're much less formal than we used to be. And we're much more okay with these kind of personal touches.
It humanizes it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what I mean. I'm not blanket statementing the entire thing here, or like, the entire approach. But I hear the brightest minds in fundraising always coming back to, let's just humanize it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. These people, they're people. No one's talking to them this way. No one's sending them the shaky video. You send them the shaky, and I'm not pushing back on what you said either. It's like, no, absolutely, do what you do. You love handwritten notes. You got great penmanship. Do it. But there's probably someone in your org, a volunteer, a board member. Maybe they are good at video. Do that too. Whatever.
Exactly.
But keep it human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that from you.
Yeah. No.
Fundraising is not an either or. It's an yes.
It really is. But you have to ask. People don't know, and I not ask for money, but like what I mean. And I'm cutting you off, but it's like
no.
The board member, for instance, that's great at video.
Right.
Tell them what you need, and they'll do it. They just need to be directed. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? Then
so once I started digging into the peak end rule, right? Remember the emotional peak and an event ends? Station every board member at the door of the gala as people leave with something identifiable, a boutonniere, corsage, a name tag, something. Yep. And ask every board member as people are leaving, please greet everyone as they go. Thank you so much for coming, right? So that there is an end. Because how many events have we seen where people just start wandering out and they pick up their auction items and it's sort of, is the event over? Isn't it? Whatever, right? It's a great place to engage others. You don't have to do it all. Volunteers are never going to rarely are going to volunteer to do a thing, to tell you what they want to do. Volunteers do great when you tell them what you need, and they will go and do that thing.
They just need to be encouraged.
Go back to the humanizing part. There are a lot more reports. Yes, we have Giving Tuesdays, or we have Giving USA reports. Yeah. We have the fundraising effectiveness projects. We have OneCause's amazing reports on how
big time.
And we hear so much about the catastrophe of philanthropy. Fewer people are giving, fewer households are giving. But the reality is, when you actually look at Giving Tuesdays reports and other more global reports, if we were to create a Venn diagram of this mystical creature called donor and overlap it with human, the overlap is 100%. When we're talking about donors, we're talking about humans. Yeah. Donor psychology is human psychology.
No question.
And humans we are messy and
we're animals.
Confusing.
We're animals.
And we don't do things the way we think we do. Yeah. And donors are humans. Yeah. And I am thrilled at this time in fundraising.
Yeah.
Because when I started, you didn't show up unless you were in a blue suit and a white, white shirt and a tie. Like,
yeah.
And I mean, like, I'm in tennis shoes. You've got a baseball hat on.
Come on.
And this is, and these can be our events. These can be our. We can relax. We can be human, and that's so much more powerful than having the slick, presentation or what. Stop pitching. Start inviting.
I love that. Stop asking. Start inviting as well.
Exactly.
I own a tuxedo. Doesn't mean I like wearing it.
It's funny that you say that. When I was in high, I remember this distinctly. Yeah. I remember my parents, my dad especially, telling me, right, one thing every man needs, especially as he starts college and into early career, is a tuxedo. I don't think that happens anymore.
Maybe not.
Can't imagine. I don't know that.
We'll ask the crew when we get done. They're of that demo.
Right.
Yeah. I've been out of the house for a minute.
Right.
Doesn't mean I'm housebroken. Hey, you said something great about events. Yeah. You talked about OneCause's auction report. Amazing.
Yes.
I could talk to you for another hour and a half. This is great. Do us a favor. Talk to the audience about what Raise means to you, if you don't mind. Is it your first one?
Yes.
Really, it is?
It's my first
great.
one in person.
Oh, cool.
So I've attended virtually. I was supposed to come last year, but I got hurt.
Yeah,
Long
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But
Talk about what this means to you. You're here now. It's great.
The thing that I'm walking away from with this is how incredible it is to be with colleagues centered around a particular focus.
Yeah.
Because everybody here in some way or another does something related with events, is the commonality is through the OneCause platform. I know there's a few attendees that aren't actually OneCause customers.
Totally.
But they have a similar focus.
Because they know.
So every session, every hallway conversation tends to center around the same thing. And there is nothing, and this is true for the Raise conference, and it's true for your events. There is nothing more powerful than a small group of people coming together around a similar focus and a similar need. And it just creates a magic that is.
I'm going to create that soapbox for you to say that as many times as I can, because the people in our space need to hear it. This event does that. It's amazing.
I agree.
It's one of a kind.
It is.
Really glad that you're here. Really glad to meet you. I want to continue talking with you. Do us a favor. Tell the audience where they can find you, show you some love, some support, and ask you questions. Put your business in the street. Sure.
Yeah. As you said, I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can pretty much find me anywhere as T. Clay Buck.
Yeah.
The T is silent. Everybody calls me Clay, but also on my website, my company, nextriverfundraising.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, thanks everybody. Do us a favor. Show Clay some love on LinkedIn. Ask him some questions. I think you're ready for him. Yeah. Good stuff.
I clearly hate talking about
Like
things.
I said, I could talk to Clay about this for about another 90 minutes. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in to the Raise Broadcast Studio 2025. We'll see you all next time.
In the world of nonprofit fundraising, every moment counts. You're dedicated to your mission, but are outdated tools holding you back? OneCause is here to help streamline your efforts, elevate your donors' experience, and boost your fundraising results, all in one easy-to-use platform for events, auctions, peer-to-peer, and online giving. With our integrated tools, AI-driven innovation, and our award-winning support, get ready to save time and raise more for your mission with OneCause.